Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! Taylor gets this one out towards center field to the short part, and it's a grand slam! That's a floater. Out to short. And it's booted off the shortstop's glove! Just like they drew it from Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! Grant Fournier, 2-run shot to right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, happy Tuesday and welcome to the Roadrunner Athletic Complex, the first of many Dan Wilkins Broadcasting showcases of RCSJ-Gloucester athletics in the 2025-26 school year. It's been a while since we've been on this soccer field, not at least since late October of last year. Starters are being introduced on both sides for this Region 19 matchup between Eastern Pennsylvania foe Harrisburg and the Hawks versus the RCSJ Roadrunners. Now, we were going to stay on the air for the introductions, but the microphone on the far side of the field isn't exactly reaching on our side, so we will introduce the starting lineup before we go ahead. Harrisburg coming into this game 1-2, all of their 3 matches on the Region 19 side. Meanwhile, RCSJ at 2-1-1 on the campaign with a 2-0-1 record in the region. Harrisburg won their first game of the year in a 7-3 barn burner versus Northampton, then a 4-1 loss to Raritan, the Division II opponent, and then a 8-1 loss to Bergen over the weekend. So as Harrisburg and the Hawks go into this game, we'll have starting 11s for both sides and 90 minutes of NJCAA Region 19 soccer coming to you from Gloucester County, Sewell, New Jersey, here on a overcast, mostly overcast, Tuesday afternoon here in the second week of September. And now we will stay on the air for the national anthem. A little bit of a quieter national anthem, to say the least. I tried to turn up the microphones on the board, but can only go so far. Let's introduce the starters, beginning with Harrisburg Area Community College, led by head coach Cole Goodman, and then assisted by Mo Ahmed and Hannah Tinder. Their starting lineup, we start off with number 1, Angelo Intriago, and then number 2, Abdun Hamane, Kimba Seydu. I apologize if I butcher any of these names. We did not have the time for a pronunciation run-through for Harrisburg. And then Brandon Rodriguez, number 5, Beodelson Elisme, Brawlin Pena, Samuel Bacoy, Joel Efekel, Tyrell Gallatin, Bakar Jah, Dicer Perez, and Samuel Olasey for Harrisburg. And then for RCSJ, led by head coach Craig Wicken, assisted by Charlie Kellogg and Anthony Tarsatana. For the Roadrunners, they start out with Cameron Borger, then followed by Charleston Bluebird out of South Africa, Elijah Cummings, Braden Jacobson, Justin Lewis of Kingsway, Matt Lilia, Afiwe Ngobo, Noah Pagan, Gavin Reamer, Owen Vinamarte, and in goal, Diego Torres. RCSJ's had a handful of starters in goal for the Roadrunners, including Kevin Wall, the sophomore out of Gloucester High. But we'll see what we've got. 45 minutes in the first, 45 minutes in the second. Again, both of these teams coming off of eventful weekends. RCSJ 2-1-1 on the campaign. Harrisburg is 1-2. They won their opening match of the season 7-3 versus Northampton, but they have lost their last two, scoring only 2 goals in their last 2 games, losing 4-1 to Raritan Valley, and then 8-1 to Bergen over the weekend. And you kind of see sometimes in these JUCO settings, soccer games can tend to run a little bit amok sometimes, get a little bit out of hand. We hope that today is at the very least, an eventful matchup. For RCSJ this year, they led off their season with a 4-2 win over their cross-county rival RCSJ Cumberland over at Rowan University. They won that game 4-2, and then 2 days later, they traveled up to Montgomery County for a 0-0 tie. They then lost to open up the month of September versus Mercer 5-zip. They recovered versus a 5-1 win at Morris on September the 6th. This kicks off a 3-game homestand for the Roadrunner men's soccer program. They obviously host today, right here, right now, versus Harrisburg. Saturday the 13th versus Northampton, and then next Tuesday, September 16th, versus Middlesex before they go on the road. And in fact, 7 of their next 8 games are going to be at home. So most of the Roadrunners visiting woes looks like they're going to be out for most of the rest of September. I'm Dan Wilkins over here at the Roadrunner Athletic Complex. Mike Wolverton and Brian Rowan on the far side. We're underway in Gloucester County. Hanging close to the line for Harrisburg. Tipped up that time with Matt Lilia in the tow, in mix. Right side for Reamer. And could be the first touches for the goalkeeper, Torres. Instead, they send it to the back line. Back and forth with Noah Pagan and Elijah Cummings. This is a good one. Got already a good start. Here comes a shot, and it's off the post and in. 36 seconds into the game, and the Roadrunners strike first with a goal right into the post on the right side. Scored by Cameron Borger. Had a goal versus Cumberland 2 weeks ago, and he picks up his first on the home turf, and it's 1-0 Roadrunners. Well, talk about a hot start right there for the Roadrunners. Saw a little bit of a back and forth between Cummings and Pagan on the back line of defense. And then just a fantastic ball, flipping the field, getting it to the offensive side, just enough to keep it onside, and then we finally find a breakthrough. As Borger finds the goal and gets himself into the corner. Time of goal, 36 seconds. Now Harrisburg going to try to strike back here towards the line and sent out. Tried to get a little baseline goal that time from number 22, Samuel Olasey. And this will yield Harrisburg's first corner of the afternoon. A little bit gusty, a little bit windy here in Gloucester County today, 73 degrees and cloudy at kickoff. We'll be back here same time tomorrow for a women's soccer matchup versus the Georgian Court Lions, their reserve team. And the Roadrunners, ranked number 2 nationally, playing an NCAA Division II reserve squad with Georgian Court, located in Ocean County, New Jersey. Another good ball out to the left side here. This time it's going to find number 19, Braden Jacobson, and sent out by Intriago, the goalkeeper for the Hawks. Back to Bacoy. Harrisburg has been a little bit aggressive this year, just off of their regulations and their cautions and yellow cards this year. They've had 2 players that have received suspensions for red cards, one of them being Bacoy, who was suspended for the September 6th game versus Bergen. And they do have 1 player currently suspended, Toby Shanoy, who received a red card all the way back in their opener versus Northampton on August 26th, but is currently serving a 3-game suspension. So we don't know the circumstances of said red card, but it was enough to warrant, as we said, a 3-game suspension, which is in effect for today's game and the prior 2 that Harrisburg have played, as that one goes out on the far side. Obviously, the backdrop here in the Roadrunners Athletic Complex looks a little bit different from last year. Rowan Medicine finally finished their extension of the wing for Virtua Health College of Medicine and Life Sciences, one of the several off-campus buildings that Rowan University has put in the area on Rowan's campus. If you're hanging around 322, you might see a handful of buildings for their veterinary medicine school that they're trying to build up as West Campus. Header goes up to the right side, and we'll have our whistle here, negating the play. But before that extension was built, where that passenger walkway is where the building ended. And now that is extended all the way out beyond midfield here, with the parking lot a little bit shortened. But listen, Rowan's getting big. And I think that's why RCSJ, kind of tying things back into the Roadrunners, they're enjoying a lot of success athletically. Women's soccer ranked number 2 in the nation. Women's basketball was top 10 at one point and was on the doorstep of making a deep playoff run up in Auburn, New York. And then, of course, 3-time back-to-back-to-back national champions for the baseball team, coached by Rob Valley. A little back and forth here. Jacobson in tow, and Seydu out for Harrisburg. Just about 5 minutes into this one, Roadrunners struck first on a goal off the right post by Cam Borger. They made it 1-0 just 35 seconds into today's match. That one is up and out of play. Of course, the Roadrunners led by first-year head coach Craig Wicken. The Roadrunners received new head coaches for both the women and men's soccer programs in the offseason. Tom Eichhorn being hired for the Roadrunners women's program. We will see them, as we mentioned before, tomorrow, pending the weather. That should be noted. There's about a 50% chance of rain tomorrow. Because we do have our rain gear, but because it is versus a JV team and not a Region 19 matchup, if the rain looks like it's going to be too hard and it might threaten our equipment, because technology is very expensive, as hopefully the viewers at home would know, if there is a threat of rain that looks like it would harm our equipment, even with the rain gear, we will forego that broadcast for Wednesday. Another corner kick for the Harrisburg Hawks. This time from the far corner. Harrisburg already had one today from the near side. Good. Oh, thought it was going to be a good ball that time, but instead got rocket launched over the head of Torres and over the RCSJ goalpost. RCSJ trying to work the ball up, and a little trip and a whistle. Looks like first contact was made by number 7, Justin Lewis. Lewis had a little bit of a highlight reel goal 2 weeks ago versus Cumberland over at Rowan University. Had a buzzer-beating goal to end the first half. They were counting down from 5, and Lewis banked it in with exactly 1 second left to give the Roadrunners a 2-0 lead going into the half. Excuse me, a 3-0 lead going into the half. Each team traded off a goal, and then Cumberland got a PK goal in the 70th minute. And the final score of that game, again, was 4-2 back on August the 26th. Roadrunners with the momentum. Jacobson stops at midfield, tucks it back, and now sends it back to the defense line again. Now it's Jacob Garrett. Excuse me, no, Noah Pagan. My apologies. And Gobo turning the ball over back to Harrisburg, but Bluebird in that time. Keeping it on the ground is Reamer. Now back to Jacobson. Tries to fire it through the traffic, keeps it on the left side, keeps it on the ground, and Harrisburg thwarts it with a shot all the way out and out of bounds off the back fence. Quick throw by the Roadrunners. Just about 8 minutes, 7.5 minutes into the contest today on this overcast Tuesday afternoon. Our first Roadrunners athletic event during the school year. Like we said, we covered the Cumberland game, but that was about a week before classes started. They're going to call offside that time, so it'll be nullified. This broadcast is brought to you by DAWG Pro Wrestling, or Dog Pro Wrestling, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events and nonstop entertainment throughout the Garden State. You can watch their recent event, Saturday Night SmackDown, over at Rowan University back from August 30th on the Rowan TV Network YouTube channel. And for information on future events and ticketing, oh, how about this? That was very close to being an own goal by Harrisburg that time. They were able to save it, though. For more information on future events and ticketing for Dog Pro Wrestling, the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators is the full acronym. You can visit dawgprowrestling.com. Also, if you're a local organization, civic club, or charity that would like to book DAWG Pro Wrestling for their next outing, bring a little bit of flair to the next gathering that your group has, visit dawgprowrestling.com for more information. This will be a corner. First of the day for the Roadrunners. And again, it'll be sent by Charleston Bluebird. Good ball this time, and right into the gloves of Angelo Intriago, the freshman keeper. Over the head of Borger, who's going to get this one back. Back to, looks like Garrett that time. Excuse me, Lilia. Working through really heavy traffic this time for Lilia. Harrisburg trying to advance, hugging the near sideline with McCoy, and that one is up the hill and out of play. Oh, look out. Nope, that's going to curve out of play. If it didn't curve, that was headed straight for my noggin, but instead remains out of play, and soccer balls flying everywhere with these possessions, flying out at a quick rate. On the ground now for Jacobson as they're going to try to advance here. And Gobo sends it back towards midfield. And Intriago going pretty far out that time to send the kick away, but again, reading the situation, reading the room, seeing how far they can allow it and allow Angelo to go out there as a good slide that time. Really like when Cummings gets that slide started early. He didn't cause too much contact, didn't really cause any contact that time that would have drawn anything, but it was more effective than aggressive. And that's always a good sign. McCoy couldn't get that one that time, and it rolls to Torres, who will send this one away for a goal kick. Of course, every year when we talk about JUCO athletics, this is my second year at RCSJ, but one of the big things for those that might be a little bit more casual in watching college sports is, hold on here, this is going to be a good ball. Left side, couldn't get it that time with McCoy and Efekele going back-to-back that time. But point is that with JUCO athletics, you know, you think about the NCAA and you might watch college football or college basketball and see somebody who's a 4 or 5 year program star for a team. Well, in JUCO athletics, because it's only 2 years, there's so much turnover from year to year. And especially with the transfer portal and everybody now, a lot of guys leaving after just 1 year, you almost feel like you're dealing with a brand new team every year. And with the Roadrunners now having a new head coach in Craig Wicken, it is really kind of a new day for everybody. Look out, that one's over our heads and back into the grandstands. Another one out of play. Two names to keep of note of this year, though, are two players from South Africa, Charleston Bluebird and the man that they call AP Ngobo. Bluebird comes from New Germany, South Africa, and went to a high school called Redham House Kumnyanga. Now, Redham House is a series of private academies. They're all day schools, but they're private academies in South Africa. Meanwhile, AP Ngobo went to Kloof High in Anando, South Africa. Might take me a little bit of a while to get the names exactly right, but popped up, knocked down by Pagan. Borger going back over, and it's back to Bluebird. Harrisburg wanted a hand that time, now hugging the near sideline with a chance to advance. 3-on-1 as now Harrisburg gets a little bit of a shoulder check and goes out of bounds on the far side. And for those curious, as here comes the throw in this time, we were talking about the two cities in South Africa, New Germany, which is where Charleston Bluebird is from, and actually Bluebird is going to get a bit of a hold and out of play that time. This will be thrown in by Borger. Well, New Germany is just outside of the South African city of Durban, which isn't near any of the South African cities that most folks from America know, as in Cape Town and Johannesburg. It's a little bit closer to Johannesburg, but still several hours outside of the city, and it's a little bit closer to the countries of Eswatini, formerly Swaziland, and Lesotho. And don't say if you watched Harrisburg at RCSJ-Gloucester that you didn't learn anything today. And then Anando, South Africa as well. That is a little bit closer to Johannesburg, but again, both cities still several hours away. We had a player last year that came from Miracosta, California. And I thought that was impressive enough, but two players this year coming internationally from South Africa, not to mention a name that we've mentioned a lot this game and this year, Braden Jacobson. While he's not international, he is definitely a hike away. He went to Green Bay West High School in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And if he's anything other than a Packers fan, I'd be very surprised. Here's Bluebird. Kind of lost his footing there as he tried to get the shot off with Elisme defending him. But yeah, Jacobson's been a name that we've been talking about a lot. And again, a name coming from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Whether he comes here for 1 year or 2 years, he's still an impressive name to watch and has been just a very good passer. We haven't seen him score at all yet, but at least with our cameras rolling. But Jacobson's been a name that from today until the end of October, going to be a name that the Roadrunners and the rest of Region 19 should watch. Bluebird on the corner. Low line drive. It comes out of the hands of Intriago, but a very good save that time through heavy traffic. Intriago lets the defense clear, and he'll send this one away. A little bit of a short roll that time, the number 18, Gallatin. Now rolling across midfield, Harrisburg looking to keep the momentum going. And a trip and a foul and a whistle. Just about 16 minutes into the first half here in Gloucester County in the Sewell/Deptford area. Actually, the first time we've covered Harrisburg as an affiliate broadcaster of the RCSJ Roadrunners. Oh, and Bluebird overran himself that time. Gets a turnover to number 6, who is not on our... Oh, no, it is Darwin Lopez. My apologies. 2 hops to Torres, and he takes it. The reason why he was at the top of the roster was because he actually has 2 jersey numbers for Darwin Lopez. He has 0 and he has 6, because apparently he also dabbles in goalkeeping for Harrisburg and for head coach Cole Goodman. So with that being said, looks like today he takes the ladder and he goes into the field for Harrisburg. On the far side towards our RCSJ photographer Gus, taking some shots over there of today's action. You can access a photo gallery of today's game along with a lot of other post-game and pre-game media in reference to today's game between Harrisburg and RCSJ on RCSJ's athletic website, rcroadrunners.com. And also for any high school athletes that may be watching, RCSJ is a sponsor of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We'd like you to know that if you want to become a Roadrunner, it's easy to do so. Fill out a prospective athlete form at rcroadrunners.com, and to register as a student, visit rcsj.edu. The next fall section for accelerated courses starts on October 6th. Gonna have a corner on the far side for RCSJ. Going to be Reamer taking it away. Going for all the marbles here, couldn't get it, headed out. Now Harrisburg has a chance to advance. And really a good ball and a good deflection here because it took a long time for RCSJ to keep up. And we'll have a tackle and a whistle. Looks like Elise May and the Roadrunners number 4. We'll have to see if he's on our roster in a different capacity. That would be Owen Vinamarte. There we go. With all the numbers and the names so small on the rosters they give me, it's hard to tell sometimes if I'm reading off the right name. But I mean, I'll tell you, we're in the 19th minute of this game. They're going to call offsides this time. Second time Roadrunners have been hit with an offsides call. But first goal of the game happened 36 seconds in, and now we haven't seen anything for the next 18 minutes. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes, especially in the JUCO soccer realm, you'll see a hot start followed by a very cold stretch of offense. And maybe there will be some at the bookends when players get fatigued and out of gas. But sometimes when those first couple of possessions are happening, not everybody's lined up. When these teams, obviously they don't play each other every year. I don't think that they played each other in 2024, but point being is that when you're not somebody who will play a home and home, because you do play a home and home versus a couple of D3 opponents, and you'd have 2 matchups a year. In this case, when you haven't played each other in a while, and also when it's a new season, it's just a perfect storm for that early goal to come up. We've got a whistle. We've got a foul this time on, again, Bluebird got tripped up. And Harrisburg has 4 players on their roster who have been hit with yellow or red cards this year. RCSJ keeps it on the ground, left side, and they'll have an offsides here. Again, that's just that's the early season mental awareness that they'll have to keep an eye on in what is still a close game, 1-0 Roadrunners. Harrisburg has been able to move the ball downfield, as you see right there, but they just haven't been able to get much going. They've only had 2 shots on goal in the first 21 minutes of this game. Sent away by Pagan, back to Bluebird. Bluebird's had a couple of turnovers tonight. Now the Hawks trying to take advantage of it. 2 players getting together that time. You've heard a couple of times Diego Torres emphasizing communication, saying everybody's got to talk. See if they're onside this time. They are, but it's turned over. A slide, and it's sent out of play on the far side. We'll have a substitution, in fact, 2 of them coming in for the Roadrunners. Out is Lilia and Jacob Garrett, one of the leading goal scorers in the history of Gateway High School, right down the road in Woodbury Heights. He was a fantastic product to watch in high school, and he's been honing his craft at the collegiate level as well. That one sent out on the left side. But even though this is a 1-0 game, still a lot of pressure on Angelo Intriago. RCSJ controlling a lot of the possessions. It seems like the Roadrunners, they're taking themselves a lot slower on the possessions. Meanwhile, when Harrisburg gets the ball, it's got to go deep downfield every time. Off the post! No cigar that time as it stayed on the ground and barely stayed in play. And again, this is what we were talking about here. Harrisburg's moving very quickly, but hasn't been able to put anything consistently together, except for now as they score, game tied. Or see if it's allowed. In the 22nd minute. That goal is allowed and scored in the 22nd minute. Wasn't sure on the signal that time, but Harrisburg has tied the game. And that's what we were talking about. Harrisburg was driving the ball deep down the pitch very quickly. But every time they got right around 3/4 of the way through, somebody from RCSJ would step in and take down the play. Now it's a little bit different. Harrisburg finally able to get something through. And they score that goal. Borger on the ground to the right side, looking for Ngobo. In the far corner and out of play. Corner for the Roadrunners. Bluebird will take it in the 24th minute. That goal scored in the 22nd by Harrisburg, and they're going to stop this corner here. I think they were making sure everybody was in the right position. Somebody wasn't lined up the right way in front of the goalkeeper in Triago. And here we go, corner for Bluebird. Here we go, two-touch this time. Headed down and just behind the net, out of play. That goal scored by Samuel Bacoy, who missed Saturday's game versus Bergen, which was one to forget for Harrisburg in an 8-1 final for the Bergen Bulldogs. Whiffed on it that time. Roadrunners will try to take advantage, but now Harrisburg fools us all. And a whistle stops the play. Harrisburg will have a free kick this time from right around the edge of the white circle in midfield. This will be sent by Seydoux. Keeps it low, keeps it on a line, and headed by Borger right back to where it started. Bluebird gets sent to the ground. We stay alive on this possession. Seydoux passes to the right. Roadrunners and Hawks getting a little bit more aggressive now that the game is tied. And out of play after a little collision that time. The standings right now in Division 3, 3 teams are undefeated. I should say 3 teams have a perfect record, and there is a 4th that has a tie to its name. Raritan Valley 4-0, Camden 3-0, which not surprising. Camden definitely has been one of the consistently great men's soccer teams over the years. I mean, they basically went viral for a game that they had last year versus Atlantic Cape, where they won the game, and this is not a joke, 33-0 over Atlantic Cape. Now, if you think 90-minute game, that's a goal about every 3 minutes, uninterrupted, with really no opposition from the other side. And that actually prompted the NJCAA to make rule changes in regards to a mercy rule. Now, considering how Harrisburg's playing today, I don't think it's going to be in effect unless we find a crazy breakaway. But the rule is that a game would stop if a team is up by 8 goals or more after the 60th minute. And then, if a team is up by 5 goals or more at halftime, we got a foul. It's going to be against the Roadrunners. 2 players got together that time. One took out the other, and they will ask the clock to be stopped, and it is. 18 minutes, 30 seconds left to play in the first half. Just a slide tackle gone wrong that time, and it'll go against the Roadrunners. Certainly, Wicken and the Roadrunners disagreeing, as it looks like the foul was tagged against Elijah Cummings. This is a prime position for a good free kick for Harrisburg, though. Whether or not you agree with the call, this is going to be a prime defensive spot for the Roadrunners, as this is the closest any of the free kicks have gotten today. Didn't get too much distance on it, though. Kept it on the ground, and now this is sent up by McCoy and right into the hands of Torres in the air. So will land right at midfield. Popped up by McCoy. I've noticed that from him. He really likes to send the ball high in the air instead of far down the pitch. He's definitely been a good passer to his teammates, but when he's driving the ball down the field, he scored that first goal by basically just tapping it in on the left side. That hasn't really been consistent with his play style, where he's more just sending those pop-ups straight up and forcing some difficult headers and some difficult positions on these plays. Out of play. Substitution coming in for the Roadrunners. But as we said, Raritan Valley, Camden, and Ocean, your three teams with perfect records. 4-0 for Raritan, 3-0 for Camden, 2-0 for Ocean. And then Middlesex is unbeaten, but they are 3-0-1 on the campaign. RCSJ right behind them. They're 5th in the standings at the moment with a 2-1-1 record. And Harrisburg is actually 5th from the bottom. There is a pretty decent gap of, let's see here, 6 teams. So that would mean Harrisburg is in 11th out of 15 for Division III this year. The teams separating them are Union at 2-1, Bergen at 2-2, Brookdale and Delaware County at 1-1, Montgomery at 1-2-1, and then Atlantic Cape tied with Harrisburg at 1-2. Below the Hawks are Morris at 1-3. That's a team that RCSJ beat over the weekend 5-1. And then the winless teams, there are 3 of them, RCSJ Cumberland at 0-3-1, Northampton and Sussex at 0-3 and 0-4 respectively. So Cumberland is a team that the Roadrunners beat to open the season. Meanwhile, Northampton is a team that Harrisburg beat, also by several goals, a 7-3 final to open up their season. That one breaks through. See how far they can get. It is stopped by Intriago, and that one's out. This is going to be thrown in, a quick transition for Borger. Keeps it on the ground for Lewis. Borger looking for his second goal of the day, headed and in! Goal, Roadrunners! In the 29th minute, in the 30th minute. Headed down and in, and the Roadrunners take a 2-1 lead here with 15 minutes and 53 seconds to play in the first half. Just a really good setup by Borger on that goal. That's one of those situations where the assist is more powerful than the goal itself. The Roadrunners looking to keep the advantage high. So that goal was headed in by number 26, Jake Hartman. Had the goal that time. A freshman out of West Deptford. Of course, a lot of South Jersey talent on this Roadrunner team. And again, the only players that we have mentioned that are really not from the area were those 2 players from South Africa, Jacobson from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Now that one is headed down. Another chance. Oh, McCoy slipped and his back fell on top of the ball. Harrisburg will retain the possession with Olase, and it goes out on the near side. And there are a few players, not necessarily from South Jersey, but from New Jersey in general. You got Noah Pagan. We've called his name a lot. He is out of the Shore Conference at Matawan. This is his sophomore year and his second as a Roadrunner. Bluebird back over to Hartman. Hartman to a gobo. Oh, big hit. Harrisburg able to come up with it. Hit from the back that time. And gobo gets tripped up and a whistle. Favoring that right ankle that time. By the way, speaking of D3 JUCO soccer, Raritan Valley and Bergen tied 0-0 at the half. Should be a really good game between those two. Raritan Valley, again, top of the conference, 4-0. And then the later game scheduled for today that we do not have score updates for: Atlantic Cape and Delaware County, Camden and Ocean, Montgomery and Northampton, Middlesex at Sussex, Brookdale at Union, and then, Brookdale and Union, a doubleheader with women and men at Oak Ridge Park in Clark, New Jersey. That one's over and out of play. Still some construction going on over there as, again, the Rowan Medicine Building, as we mentioned very early in the broadcast, still getting the work done before it opens for the Virtua Health College of Medicine and Life Sciences. So it's going to be a corner. Far side of the field, no luck on either side from the corner position yet. But a low flyer, and tried to get for all the marbles that time, but no good, as we'll wait for a Harrisburg substitution. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds, book an appointment today. Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, right down the road from RCSJ, 614 Lambs Road. Goye back over to middle, some more contact. Everybody keeping it clean. Shooting through the traffic that time and getting back to Gavin Reamer. One of the newer players in the game, as going down on that play was number 30, Filippo Suarez. And they'll ask, the clock is stopped here with 11.5 to play in the first. So Suarez gets up under his own power. Don't forget, we resume with high school soccer on Monday, September 15th, in a battle between my alma mater and a school that we've covered almost 30 times on DWB. It's Audubon and Pittman from Alcyon Park, 4 o'clock kickoff on Monday, September 15th. We just had our first high school soccer game of the year yesterday, a fantastic 1-0 defensive battle between Northern Burlington and Del Ran. Only goal came from TJ Simpliciano, a sophomore, who scored his first career varsity goal in the 19th minute, and then 60 minutes of hard-fought defense followed for a final of 1-0. We'll have a tackle and a foul. Things getting a little bit repetitive here at the end of the first half. Tends to happen, but again, in a hard-fought game, it's a little bit more excusable than in a blowout game where you see people get slide tackled and you see people get tripped up, and then it causes a lot of emotions to come out. But right now, it's more of a matter of physicality. These guys want to play well. Both of these teams have been trading off some good goals here in the first 30 minutes, the first 35 minutes. Now Hartman had a good path to goal number 2. Now Suarez goes through the traffic, not really able to advance that much. Still fading out to the left over midfield. Harrisburg player briefly went down, able to get up without interruption. 3-on-1 is the battle between Bluebird and this Hawks defense. Oh, tripped up, got very close to a hand that time. Had to keep himself composed. Back at midfield. Oh, man, that was a good hit there, as he sent a lot of power on that. That was just a natural reaction to seeing that power from the leg of Elijah Cummings. When you're not a soccer aficionado, and I'm certainly not one of them, when you see somebody get hit square in the chest or square in the face with a ball of that power, sometimes can't help it. Under 10 minutes in the half. We'll also have more soccer closer to home in the Tri-County Conference on Monday, September 22nd between the Clearview Pioneers and the Washington Township Minutemen. 4 o'clock on the 22nd. I believe that's played at one of those local parks in the area, not at Washington Township High School. Although Tom Brown Field is fantastic. We were there last week for football with Penn Saucon in Washington Township. Final score of that game in a rainy second half was 41-0. We haven't had a lot of luck with football this year with avoiding the blowout. Only have had one game across our first 7 this year that has been a one-score game. Hopefully this week our triple header, though, will be more worth it. 2-on-1 battle here with Pagan, usually on the back line, now finding himself to the spotlight and to the forefront. Good stop by Harrisburg that time to force the turnover. Borger whiffed on it, and now this opens up the door. Although he will get it out, stays on the near sideline and stays in play. Knocked out by number 16, Tyrell Gatlin, and 2 subs will come in for the Roadrunners. For high school football this weekend, we do have 3 games, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We kick things off with a battle that in any other sport would be the Colonial Conference, but it's just another divisional game for West Deptford and Collingswood on Thursday, September the 11th at 6 o'clock. Friday, September 12th, we have a battle between Camden County and Salem County right off of Exit 2. We find ourselves at Lou D'Angelo Stadium for Overbrook and Pennsville. 7 o'clock kickoff on Friday. And then on Saturday, I once again go back to my alma mater. It is Bordentown and the Scotties versus the Audubon Green Wave. 11 a.m. kickoff on Saturday from Bendorf Narducci Memorial Field. Another whiff by the Roadrunners that time. Both of these teams playing a little bit undisciplined right now, but it's kind of balancing out. I didn't know how this game would conspire because of the fact that Borger scored so early, 36 seconds into the game. But it leveled out. Didn't see our next goal until I believe it was the 22nd minute when Harrisburg leveled it. And then the Roadrunners got one back with Hartman. Still over at midfield for number 20, Elijah Cummings. Another Salem County product, the sophomore from Shalleck, as Cummings sends this one high and out of play. Headed down by Pagan. Good stop that time. Still another back and forth jockey at midfield. And good footwork to get himself out of trouble for Efekele. But still running into a wall of Roadrunners as this one will go out of play. In pursuit of it was number 17, Christian Romeo. Name we haven't mentioned before, but he's a Cape Atlantic product out of Hamilton. 5.5 minutes left in the first half. 2-1 is the score. RCSJ scored 35 seconds in. As a good stop there that time by the Harrisburg keeper. Cam Borger scored first. 22nd minute, it was returned to a tie game off the left foot of Samuel Bakoy. And then Jake Hartman broke the tie, a brief 8-minute tie with a 30th minute goal. And that's where the score is held ever since, 2-1 Roadrunners. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast we will have some more Roadrunners soccer on the women's side tomorrow between Georgian Court and the Lions versus RCSJ. There is a threat of rain tomorrow, and we did mention in the open that if there is a substantial threat of rain, we do have our rain gear, but because it is not a NJCAA event, we may deem day of that we decide to forego the broadcast. If that's the case, then our next broadcast with the Roadrunners would be Tuesday, September 16th, with the Middlesex Colts and the RCSJ Roadrunners in more men's soccer action. But not a bad day here in early September. Was sunny for most of the day, now has turned into an overcast Tuesday afternoon. Just over the head that time. Probably would have been a good chance of a goal if he had it, but a little bit too high. Knocked out by Borger. Bacoy does not throw it in. Harrisburg keeps possession. Knocked down with some good footwork by Olasey. Bluebird can't get it. I mean, Harrisburg has been taking advantage of the Roadrunners' mistakes, but not enough to get a consistent possession going. Still keeps it on the ground, another whiff, and now the Roadrunners will have a chance. And then, I mean, it's turnover after turnover. Nobody's really getting any kind of substantial movement going to where they can get effective shots on goal. Harrisburg and RCSJ are playing on, kind of two different books here, two different game plans, and really not able to be consistently effective enough to score goals at a high rate. Goes back to Romeo, has a lot of space, decides to keep it on the ground prior to the slide, or prior to what would have been a slide, but instead got faked out. Thrown in by Brandon Rodriguez. Some contact there between Okoye and Borger. This one is sent far out. Let's see if Bluebird can stay on side. Instead, he lets it go. 2 hops to Intriago. And that's all she wrote there. Like we said, you're not going to see any extra time. It's with the clock winding down. Once that clock hits 0, we'll go to a 10-15 minute halftime break. And in addition to that, don't forget, with this being a close game, that there is no overtime in NJCAA soccer. For the regular season, there is no overtime, there is no PKs, so in the second half, once you get to 90 minutes, we'll be out of here. The game will be over. But right now, the Roadrunners ahead by 1 goal. Final 2 minutes of the half. Torres backpedaling, trying to shave a little bit of time off the clock. Don't blame him for doing this. Usually when you're up by 1 goal at the end of the game, that would be more prominent, but clock management's also important at the end of the first half as well. You don't want them to get any ideas. You still want to have that lead going into the break. Romeo with space over the middle. Hawks player falls down, but he stays alive with no whistle. Romeo fades to the left. Gets some distance. Left side for Intriago. To our left, to his right, I should say. Oh, he hit that off the back of his own player. That did not go the way he wanted it to. Now Harrisburg's got to improvise here. They got caught off guard. That was Bakar Jah, who had his back turned to the goalie. I don't know if the kick was muffed or if he just didn't have enough velocity or height on it, but he drilled it straight into the back of the shoulder blade of that defenseman. And it ended up going, luckily for Harrisburg, right back to where they started. That would have been one of the funkiest own goals if that had a different trajectory, off the back of your own player and into the net. But instead, down to our final 30 seconds of the half, our last possessions here. On a decently windy but somewhat overcast day here from RCSJ. Thrown in by Harrisburg, 10 seconds. One last shot of desperation. He got it way downtown. Justin Lewis did it versus Cumberland. And with 1 second on the clock, it's the second game in a row, at least out of what we've covered, as his own man got pile driven that time. Looks like that might have been Garrett that time who got it. 3-1 at the half. We'll have 1 second to play. And they'll just touch it. And there you go. So something about buzzer beaters for the Roadrunners has been clicking with them. Like we said, second time this year that the Roadrunners have scored a goal with 5 or less seconds in a half. We go to the break. It's 3-1 Roadrunners over the Harrisburg Hawks here on DWB.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well.
The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside.
It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need.
And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives.
If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Welcome back. For those who waited, we've got 45 minutes down, 45 to go here from the Roadrunner Athletic Complex in Sewell, New Jersey. The sun has popped out. The sun has said hello, as it is a 3-1 game in favor of the Roadrunners. We had a thrilling end to the first half. First of all, we had a thrilling start to the game, starting off with a 36-second goal by Cameron Borger. Then Bacoy followed it up for the Harrisburg Hawks with a 22nd-minute goal. Jake Hartman booked his first of the year with a goal in the 30th minute, and then Jacob Garrett, the product of Gateway Regional, slams one in with 1 second left to make it 3-1 at the half. Again, you're watching coverage of NJCAA Region 19 Soccer on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you have any questions or comments about today's game, drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. We also accept Venmo contributions at DW Broadcasting on Venmo, no spaces or hyphens. Of course, not required. All DWB broadcasts, I think 550 of them, are free to view. However, we do appreciate any contributions made. They all go towards my college fund. I'm a second-year student here at Rowan College of South Jersey. And we've got a very early whistle and a very early hodgepodge over on the far side of the field. They will get a very quick restart, though, as it goes out of play towards the far sideline. But again, everything goes towards college funds, equipment expenses, and travel costs. The equipment on the table here to my left and what I'm holding in my right hand, not very cheap, I'll tell you that. And we tell our folks all the time, take care of the stuff. And again, the reason why when things do go wrong that we can get new equipment is because of wonderful viewers like you that contribute to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting via Venmo. That was a very late fall from Harrisburg that time. Clock hasn't stopped yet. Imagine it would at some point. They're attending to the player. The three referees all have their backs turned, well, except for the one on the near side. So they're just going to let the clock run. All right. I had it stopped for a couple seconds, but that shaves about a minute off, and I'll tell you, yet a game that will have no extra time and no overtime because of NJCAA rules, it makes a difference at the end of the day. You know, when we cover high school soccer, the referees are very lenient on extra time. That was a dangerous call right there. RCSJ was backpedaling a little bit too far for my liking, but they do send this back out to midfield with Sadeu in on the offensive attack. Off the head that time, Borger comes back up with it. Harrisburg driving and just couldn't get enough on it out of play. Corner for the Hawks. By the man who we've called a lot of times today, Samuel Bacoy. Scored that goal in the 22nd minute, deflected off the leg of Pagan and out of play. Gonna have a second corner this time for Harrisburg. A lot of height. And a whistle as Torres got clipped a couple of times while flying through. He might have gotten, not sure if he got hit in the head. He had his glove over the backside of his head for a second there, but he does appear to be okay. This will be a goal kick for Torres. Again, Roadrunners have been going with a different set of goalkeepers in these last few games. Kevin Wall was the starter in the opening match versus Cumberland, and a mistake that time sends that possession out of play. Vinamarte had the right idea, but he just sent it a little bit too far to the left and ends up making an easy turnover in the favor of Harrisburg. Back to number 11, Effa-Kelly. Harrisburg still driving and out of play. This broadcast is brought to you by Gray Fox Sports. Enhance your sports photography and make sure your next event is covered by the best in the business with Gray Fox Sports. Visit them on their website at grayfoxsports.net or on their Instagram of the same name, Gray Fox Sports. Ran by Michael Taylor, an alum of RCSJ. He's going to be competing in track and field in the shot put, in the hammer throw at Bloomsburg University in Pennsylvania this upcoming spring. Well, that was bobbled on the throw-in, got a lot of forward progress on the forward advancement, using football terms in soccer now. As that one is sent away, they give up the possession with Cummings making the last touch. And again, this is going to be a good position for Harrisburg, trying to get back into this game down by 2 goals. It's one of those situations where it's neither hard or easy. More collisions, a lot of room for Saidu. And again, popped straight up. We've seen a lot of high pop-ups on these Harrisburg possessions. But Harrisburg's still mostly keeping things on their side of the field. Harrisburg player goes down, watching the play develop. That one is sent way out of town. Almost goes into the parking lot. And it will go into the parking lot. There's a Harrisburg player being attended to with a cramp, and they will ask for the clock to be stopped. It wasn't stopped the last time that a player was down, but the second time I think they kind of course corrected here. Clock stops in the 50th minute. And we'll resume play. Right at midfield, turned over by Harrisburg. Back to Lilia. Good footwork by the Roadrunners to get this one in good field position this time. Going up, 2 hops. Bluebird fell. We'll have a whistle. We're going to have another yellow card for Harrisburg, and we do. They've been hit with a lot of them this year. In fact, that is their 6th yellow or red card of the season. Couldn't tell who got flagged on that one. Clock stops in the 51st minute of play. We'll see where they line all this up. So back-to-back stoppages bring a halt to the play here in the second half from Gloucester County. So Charleston Bluebird, who made the contact with the goalkeeper, now is going to set up a penalty or a good free kick here. Three on one, blocked in the first line, almost got it back that time. And now Harrisburg's actually going to turn nothing into something here. They're going to get a good possession out of it. Again, the first and only goal that they scored in the 22nd minute was a quick one. They advanced the ball all the way down in 10 seconds, only made 2 or 3 moves, and they were in. It was a simple play, and it was a quick play. That's how Harrisburg's been running all afternoon. Their moves have been fast and simple. Meanwhile, RCSJ moving with a lot more complexity. But the scoreboard will tell the final story outside of hypotheticals. And the sun popping out here. As we mentioned, the clouds passing by. being overcast for most of the first half. Jacobson got that one out that time. Now on the ground, Jacobson keeping this one alive. Harrisburg chasing on the near sideline. Trying to deflect to the left. Tips it out. He's down. He'll try to get back up here. Couldn't tell if that was Garrett at first, but it is number 19. Again, the aforementioned Braden Jacobson out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Thrown in by the Roadrunners. Gets it back, to Reamer. Thought that was Lewis for a second. It is back to Lewis now. As we mentioned, had that buzzer-beating first-half goal 2 Tuesdays ago versus Cumberland. That's saved by Harrisburg. The deflection there. Gobo. Oh, almost dragged him down at the legs here. Harrisburg ball after the foul, another foul. Things could get a little chippy here in what has been a hard-fought game between these two. More contact. Harrisburg trying to weave their way through the traffic. They finally find a break, but still 2-on-1. Deflected on the backside by number 4, Vinamarte. And another whistle. They're going to ask for the clock to be stopped, assuming we get a card. It is a yellow on the Roadrunners to number 20, Elijah Cummings. Had a feeling something like that was going to come down. Harrisburg got hit with their first, and now the Roadrunners get hit with one. Level playing field, but when we think about how these two teams are going forward here, we're only 10 minutes into the second half, and things looking a little bit chippy right now. And there's a difference between chippy and hostile. I think people get that confused sometimes, because chippy can really arise from the competitive spirit of the game, while the next tier of that is where things get hostile, and you do see that sometimes. You don't want to see it, but sometimes you do. And you know, that can happen after things get a little bit too personal. Because again, chippiness can arise out of the competitive spirit. You want your team to win. You want to be successful. And a lot of trip-ups, a lot of collisions there, and what has been a physical second half of soccer so far, looks like it will continue to be that way. Harrisburg advancing. Shoots it through and couldn't get it down. Torres saves on a dive to his right. And the score holds 3-1. Floated up there, couldn't get it down, or he did get the header, but just got it floated up that time. We'll have a handful of substitutions coming in. Again, free substitutions like there are in high school. I would have to look to see what the rule is in NCAA Division I, or because obviously JUCO and four-year universities could very well be different, but obviously everybody knows in the professionals, once you get subbed out, can't come back in, kind of like a pinch hitter in baseball. But in this case, again, with a lot of these players fresh out of high school and a lot of these players being very young, I do like the fact that they have free substitutions in collegiate play. But again, I'm not sure how it works in the NCAA level. Here's Lewis. Gets shoulder to shoulder this time. Lewis, again, getting physical. They get tangled. They get a whistle and a warning. One of the things that I mentioned, obviously different set of circumstances, but when we covered a high school soccer game yesterday between Northern Burlington and Delran, there was not a foul called for the first 15 minutes of the game. There was a lot of physicality, but the referees, for more or less, they set the bar very high in that game because they knew it was a game between two rivals, and they wanted to make sure that things wouldn't be, the precedent wouldn't be set for players to be all too crazy. Here comes Bluebird, checking it back to Reamer. Line drive, headed. Oh, it's an own goal. The shot was by Reamer, but they extend the lead to 4-1 as an accidental header goes the wrong way. Kind of a rare way to score, but Reamer will be the last Roadrunner to touch it, and the score is 4-1. Well, we didn't know how Harrisburg would attack in this second half, mostly because outside of a last-second desperation goal by Jacob Garrett, the score was 2-1. You know, Cam Borger scored first, and then Harrisburg was there, and the teams looked pretty 50-50 going into the halftime break. And even in the second half, it looked like the possessions were favoring Harrisburg. But now the Roadrunners get their first goal of the second half here in the 56th minute. And it's now 4-1 as a whole bunch of folks bunched together. Telling the thrower to back up. That being number 5, Keegan Cisse. Ball advanced a little bit too far that time, and Harrisburg will get the possession back. We'll see if they keep it in play. They do. Hard to tell on that far side of the field with all the white lines faded. It's hard to tell. Oh, and a collision there and out of play. Right in front of the head coach, Craig Wicken. Three subs coming in that time. Actually, no, just 2. Aggressive throw, right side towards the baseline. And now getting back towards the center, crossing the field. Cisse has it with room. A lot of space on the offensive side. Harrisburg deflects that one out of bounds from number 16, Tyrell Gatlin. Don't forget, we've got a DWB football triple header this weekend. We go over to Collingswood for Thursday night football on Thursday, September the 11th versus the West Epford Eagles and the Collingswood Panthers. Kickoff at 6. And then on Friday, September the 12th, we travel down to Salem County right off of Exit 2 for a battle between the Overbrook Rams and the Pennsville Eagles. Should be a hard-fought matchup in South Jersey Group 1. And then on Saturday, we go over to Audubon for the Bordentown Scotties and the Audubon Green Wave at 11 a.m. on Saturday, September the 13th. Good head to get that one out of harm's way for Harrisburg. Getting some high flailing kicks. Everybody is tangling together here, and now Harrisburg is able to advance, but we'll see what they get. Borger slides. That's a slide tackle, and now a yellow card will be presented. Believe that was against Borger that time. That would be the second yellow against RCSJ. And again, that physicality really coming out in the second half as this game continues to wind. You've got 30 minutes left. You don't know how those 30 minutes are going to go. Is it going to get calmer? Probably not. But that's the reality of JUCO athletics, is that you're going to see a lot of those more raw emotions than you would see in an NCAA game. And sometimes that's for the better. Sometimes it's not. That's not my decision to make. That's yours to make for the viewer at home. This free kick will be taken by the Hawks. Keeps it on the ground, deflected by Cummings, who himself was, oh, there's another hit. Everybody's flying together with little regard for the folks around them. And while we wait, there'll be another free kick by the Roadrunners this time, as we're 15 minutes into the second half. This broadcast is brought to you by Vincent's Lawn Care, top-of-the-line landscaping out of South Jersey and Camden County. Give Vincent a call today for weekly, bi-weekly, or anytime service at 609-413-0403. Headed down there, good way to, again, deflect that kind of action. Got batted up, still in. Oh, just missed to the right. The wind aided him that time. That shot made by number 13, Matt Lilia. And out. Who's got possession here? Harrisburg does. Again, Harrisburg seems to love those high pop-ups. They get the ball as high in the air as they can, which can produce some interesting results. A whistle came in prior to the throw. I believe Harrisburg is waiting on a substitute to come in. Got a lot of whistles in this second half. Roadrunners trying to block the traffic. Here comes a chance for Charleston Bluebird. 3-on-1. The Hawks caught up to him. Are they going to ask for a stoppage? No. Wasn't sure how far they're going to go with cards tonight, but again, it just seemed like Bluebird had a breakaway, and then he didn't exactly run out of gas, but everybody else caught up to him. 3-on-1, Harrisburg was able to get the deflection and then kind of pile drive for the stoppage. So we'll have another free kick. Again, the second today taken by Charleston Bluebird. The product of New Germany, South Africa, just outside of Durban, South Africa, the third most populous city. Although it looks like he won't be taking the kick. It will be over to Gavin Reamer. The deflection, the shot, and it misses wide right of the goalkeeper. He was trying to get the ball. They had a lot of room to run over towards the left field wall of the baseball field. They've been having their fall practices. Back over to middle, deflected down by Cummings. A little bit of an offhand kick. That time, Cummings goes down, and man, they are having a lot of whistles in this second half. Maybe 2- or 3-fold what we've seen in the first half. And Elijah Cummings will now have a free kick. Clock continues to run, though, and that's not good news for Harrisburg, because the more whistles that you have with no extra time, you're going to find yourself really crunched up at the end if you don't score sooner rather than later. I mean, I remember a women's soccer game last year between Ocean and RCSJ, and it got more than chippy. It got almost brawl-like, with several players getting kind of knocked around. And in that game, the goalkeeper for RCSJ had been ejected, and it sparked a fire or something where Ocean was up 3-0. The Roadrunners scored 3 goals in 5 minutes and then added on 1 to win 4-3. It's actually in our DWB Classics playlist. I should be promoting that more. We have a playlist called DWB Classics. It's the 25 or 30 best games that we've ever covered, from walk-off home runs to, again, classics like that one last year from Ocean and RCSJ, where you just have the best of the best. So if it's ever a rainy day and you need some extra entertainment, check out our DWB Classics playlist. If you go over to our YouTube page, and right now you're on the live tab because you're watching our DWB content, but if you go over to the playlist tab, there should be something that says DWB Classics. And all the way from one of the best youth football games we've covered back in 2021. Again, clock still running. in the 65th minute now. Now they'll resume play. Sent out to midfield. Reamers on top of it, back to Cummings, who sends it to Cisse. Kagan Cisse working through the traffic here, trying to cut towards the middle of the field. Harrisburg putting their hands up in a symbol of innocence. And again, this is just going to get more and more physical as we go along, especially if Harrisburg scores to make this game closer. If the game is a little bit more favorable to RCSJ, then it might not be that much of an issue. But the physicality is only going to get more as Harrisburg yearns to get back into this game. That stood right on top of the line there. Second attempt, no good. Out of play, and Kagan Cisse will throw it in. Over to Lilia. Vina Marte, right side. Still moving over for the Roadrunners. And again, now that RCSJ has that fourth goal, the first of the second half, has really made this possession turn on its head, where Harrisburg, for the first, I think it was the first 11 minutes, yeah, because it was 56th minute that we saw that goal off the head of a Harrisburg defender, so technically an own goal that time. But for the first 11 minutes of the half, we saw a lot of Harrisburg possessions that were going really well, just unable to finish the job. And now that RCSJ has scored, kind of put that emotional dagger in the Hawks, that now has really flipped, and RCSJ has been drawing a lot more fouls. They've been controlling the possessions a lot more. And now we'll see a corner kick from the far flag for Bluebird, right in front of another construction site here at RCSJ. Keeps it on a line. It's low. Harrisburg gets it back, but now it's back to Kagan Cisse, just trying to push that ball along on the ground. He's got room for Suarez, and it's out of play. Filippo Suarez will throw. That construction, if you're curious, they are building a new well for irrigation that will go 410 feet into the ground. The original well that they had built there was 330 feet deep, and they are now expanding it by 80 feet to hold more water. If you go to RCSJ, or if you've been around this campus a lot, you know that there is the soccer field sometimes after a hard rain, it won't flood, but it certainly will pool up with a little bit of water. And you can hear the wind through the headset, where this place does end up being a bit of a wind tunnel because of how flat it is. Not a lot of trees. There are trees behind us, but not enough to stop the wind. And if you go all the way out there, there isn't a lot of natural objects to break up the wind. So during baseball season, around early February to even during March and April, it gets super windy during games, and it almost, if you're a baseball fan, it turns into a mini Wrigley Field. Harrisburg with possession. That was looking, before they got called for the offside, that was called a lot similarly to that goal that Bakogi scored in the 22nd minute, where Harrisburg was just really making swift moves. They were moving up the pitch very, very quickly, only had to make a couple of moves to get nearby, except in that case got called for an offside. Roadrunners kicking it around with just over 20 minutes to play. Torres has it. Keeps it on the ground. Now it seems like Harrisburg is starting to get a little bit of their groove back, but again, with no extra time and no overtime, time is of the essence for Harrisburg to flip 3 goals on the board. Out of play. Headed over to Graham. Gets hit. Play stays alive. Back to Lewis, or rather back to Pagan. Ooh, that ball took a hard right turn, and now Harrisburg keeps the possession. Number 25, Dylan Rodriguez. A name where he took a free kick after Elijah Cummings drew that first yellow. And we will have a substitution. Or no, there is a player that was getting assistance on the far sideline for Harrisburg. Either way, now 19 minutes to play with the sun popping out here on this Tuesday afternoon. You can see that wind really affecting the flight of the ball when they are moving in the direction of the Harrisburg goal. Like, it's going to carry there. But if you send it the other way, it is not going to carry nearly as far as that one goes out. To be sent by Bakoyi. Out on the near sideline. And another substitution for Harrisburg. And again, every substitution that they make will take time off the clock until you get to 5 minutes. With 5 minutes left in regulation, the clock stops for every substitution. But again, I don't know if that's going to be enough here. I mean, Harrisburg will already have their back against the wall with how the Roadrunners have been taking these defensive stands today. But Harrisburg played a really good first half. They haven't been playing as well in the second half, mostly because they've just been getting a little bit too aggressive without much result. You know, there's one thing if you can check a little bit and if you can slide tackle a little bit and back it up. But here's Filipo Suarez, sends that one on a rocket right over to our manager, Greta Fairstad, over on the far sideline towards the baseball field. Back in play for the Hawks. Got a hit. And offsides will be called on Harrisburg there. Got a little bit too close for comfort. Don't forget, our next RCSJ soccer broadcast will be tomorrow. Pending the weather, there is about a 50 to 55% chance of rain for tomorrow. And it will be against Georgian Courts Reserves. If we do have our rain gear, but if it does look like it's going to be too threatening of rain, it actually looks like there's going to be thunderstorms on Wednesday, so that could throw a wrench in the whole thing. Not to mention you can't play in lightning in pretty much any circumstance, but what is my laptop made of? Metal. What am I holding with my right hand? A tripod that is made of metal and carbon fiber. Not a great idea. And what is on top of my head? A headset that has metal. Probably not a good idea. Yeah, like we said, a 50% chance. Looks like... I mean, I don't know, because it looks like any storms would stop at 1 p.m., and then it would restart at 6. So with a 4 o'clock kickoff, it will put you in a very tight window. Got it through everybody that time on the possession by the Roadrunners. Goes back to Torres. Couple of new faces in the game for RCSJ. Now Harrisburg getting it back here. Slide by number 21, Jimmy Crowley, out of Camden Catholic. I would imagine it's pronounced like the 1991 Ozzy Osbourne song, Mr. Crowley, but Camden Catholic product. And another clock stoppage. Looks like we're going to get card number 4. And that will be another yellow, I believe, against Harrisburg. Also in the game is number 27, TJ Natalie out of Delsea Regional. But some names we recognize that we've covered from DWB at their high school days. Kevin Wall out of Gloucester, goalkeeper, not the goalkeeper in today's game, but also should recognize John Lara out of Collingswood. Cristiano DeLuca out of Timber Creek. He has also checked into the game. Headed by Harrisburg. Now 15 minutes to play in regulation. Not in regulation because there is no overtime. There's 15 minutes to play in the game. No matter what happens, what do we say? What happens in Gloucester County stays in Gloucester County, right? Out of play. This will be Crowley coming in. Off the chest of Suarez. Product of Eastern Regional as he takes a dive, takes a stumble. This will be a throw by Natalie. Headed by Graham, who scored that second goal for the Roadrunners in the 30th minute. Or no, excuse me. No, he has not scored today. It was Jake Hartman who scored, not... Oh, they have Hartman listed as two players. Okay. They have him listed as number 26 and number 28. So here comes Harrisburg. A couple players go flying in. Gonna have the clock stopped again. Harrisburg and Torres made contact. It's another yellow card. Who's it against, though, this time? I mean, Harrisburg came flying in like a bull in a china shop. I mean, that's kind of been how they've been working all day. But again, with multiple players on this team who have either served or are currently serving suspensions for red cards. Seen a lot of yellow today, and Harrisburg is now going to set this one up. Try to make this a two-goal game in the 76th minute. Lining it up again is Bakoyi, who scored the first and to this point only goal for Harrisburg in the 22nd minute. And he's got it. Samuel Bakoyi scores for the Hawks, and on a penalty shot after a yellow card and a collision with Torres, he calls his own number, scores for the second time today, and in the 76th minute, they just now made it a two-goal game. It's 4-2. Second goal of the day for Bakoyi. He's responsible for both goals in Harrisburg's name. Again, comes at the tail end of the 76th minute. Still a 4-2 game, and I would say don't count out Harrisburg yet. I mean, listen, this is the first time since August 26th that they have scored more than one goal in a match, and these two teams seem somewhat level-headed. They seem, I wouldn't say equally talented, but right now, Harrisburg has done a very good job in these last couple of minutes of taking advantage of RCSJ's mistakes. Dylan Rodriguez, again, another high pop-up here by number 18, Bakar Ja. Roadrunners trying to block off the traffic here. Another one that sails over the referee's head, and a whistle for an injury timeout. And this might be the longest second half in recent memory. Oh, and another yellow card. That's got to be at least the 6th or 7th yellow card we've seen so far. Hard to keep up. But again, this is where I mentioned in the first half, either in the first half or in the beginning of the second half, where the difference between chippiness and hostility comes into play. Right now, it's just chippy. The players aren't getting in each other's faces. There's no pushing or shoving. They're playing a little bit fast and loose. It's nothing personal. It's just the physicality of the game, and the referees are laying down the letter of the law and, you know, kind of throwing the book at everybody. But there's a difference between that, and if it gets personal at all, that's where you go into that next tier. But a lot of people use chippiness as a very broad statement, and right now, yeah, it's pretty chippy. It's a 4-2 game. Harrisburg just scored on the penalty shot by Bakoyi. They have something to play for. It's not completely out of the woods yet. on the far side. And they say that one was out of play. That one, oh no, they're not going to get that one back. That one's into the construction site, and both of these ball keepers don't look like they're over the age of 10 years old. I don't think I would risk that for them. Better than the time we had a high school soccer game 2 years ago where on a free kick, a shot broke the window of a high school classroom at Palmyra 2 years ago. That one is headed. Harrisburg with a chance. Oh, it got tipped in. I think that one might have been an own goal. Hold on, it might not be allowed here. Oh, never mind. They were just whistling to keep the peace as Harrisburg had to get the ball separated from Torres. They're just carrying the ball with them. It's a 78th minute goal, 4-3. They're just going to plant the ball at midfield. And it is now a one-goal game. And you can see a flutter of substitutions being made here by RCSJ. They had a lot of their reserves in, and now that they've given up 2 goals in 3 minutes, that now really changes the dynamic of things. 4-3 game. A trip and a whistle. For whatever reason, we cannot adjust the time on our scoreboard, so we will wait until we get to the time that you see on the lower third of your screen, and then we will switch it. They do keep a couple of their substitutions in, though, as here comes Harrisburg. It was highlighted by these coaches that this is a must-win game between two talented clubs. And right now, Harrisburg is showing their best work. And I had given them some praise for how they played early. RCSJ had gone up to a 4-1 lead, and then it looked like the Roadrunners were going to have this game settled. But it is anything but settled. It's a physical game with a lot of pushes, a lot of shoves, and 7 yellow cards between both sides. But none of the red varieties. That one goes out of play, and we will have a substitution coming in as Borger, who scored first, re-enters. And he will replace number 27, TJ Natalie. Again, playing 90 minutes today and tomorrow, with the women's side playing on Wednesday afternoon versus Georgian Court, their reserve team or JV team. That one was headed, but headed in the wrong direction. Now, Harrisburg looking for a breakaway, looking for some space to tie this game. It's out to the right, sent up, had a bit of a flailing kick in desperation, unable to get it. And it's out of play, but a good shot by Brawlin Pena. Under 10 minutes to play. A little bit of a break that time. And, you know, I kind of had to eat my words there because we were talking about how this game looked like it wasn't out of reach, but it was very close to being that because Harrisburg would have to score 3 times in 20 minutes. And, again, Harrisburg's play style has been very fast and loose. I wouldn't say reckless. I mean, maybe I would, but it has been very aggressive in the fact that they just need a couple of long-winded moves to get ahead. And this could tie the game. Off of Torres. He saves it. Kicked up in the air. And the Roadrunners will stay in the lead. Diego Torres off of his gloves. Brought back in the air. Aggressive kick from downtown. No good. It went into the parking lot to some folks watching out of their trunk. Didn't think that they would be getting any action today, but they do. And with 8.5 minutes to play, a chaotic sequence of events calms down, and the score remains 4-3. Again, I'm Dan Wilkins joining you today from the Roadrunner Athletic Complex, our first of 2 games this week. Depending on the rain, if the rain is too strong or if the game gets canceled, then our next RCSJ broadcast will be versus Middlesex men's soccer on Tuesday, September 16th. Do we have another stoppage? We do. How many of these are we going to have tonight? I think it's a basketball game with how many extracurriculars we have, but sent away by the Harrisburg goalkeeper. They haven't restarted the clock. They gotta get that clock rolling. They haven't restarted the clock. It's still on the ground. About 20 seconds have passed by. Nobody's noticed anything. There we go. They get it moving now, but that's about 30 free. There's a nice save by Torres. I was going to say you can't draw those back unless the referees choose to wind down some more time intentionally, but I mean that just gave Harrisburg and RCSJ about 30 seconds of untimed soccer here. And in a close game like this, if you're RCSJ, I don't think they'd be very happy about that, because that's 30 seconds that could have been spent on clock management, but we'll see if that opens a door for Harrisburg or if RCSJ will hold on. They're saying that a Harrisburg player was offsides. Number 2, again, Kimba Seydu. Torres will send this one away, and again, with sportsmanship in mind, you got to think about how much time Torres wants to waste here. I mean, obviously, you don't want to delay too much for the sake of keeping everybody happy and keeping the peace. But again, every second matters here, because Harrisburg just needs a couple of good moves. That first goal that they scored 22 minutes in wasn't very long. It was a quick play. They went down the field very quickly. Only took about 8 to 10 seconds. 2 or 3 moves, and then they were in. And it just took a left foot tap to get it there. And right now, blink and you'll miss it. We've only got about 6:15 left in this game. And as we mentioned with NJCAA rules, no overtime, no extra time either. So what you see on the scoreboard is what there will be for the rest of the night. So an intense finish here at RCSJ. A game that was 3-1 at half, with Jacob Garrett getting the heroics going and getting the crowd hyped up with a last-second, last-ditch effort goal. They led 3-1 at the half and then added on another one in the 56th minute. And now 2 goals in minutes 76 and 79 for Harrisburg have made this game oh so close again. 4-3 is the score. Maybe a corner this time. And this is another play that takes off a lot of time. As you can see, a little gingerly jog that time. It's the game within the game. We talk about it in football, we talk about it in basketball. In any sport where there is a clock, somebody wants to manage that clock. Somebody wants to take those opportunities away. Keeps it on the ground, keeps it in short distance. Harrisburg guarding it close distance. Player goes down. Harrisburg trying to force the turnover. They don't get it, and we'll have another foul. You could hear Coach Hoffman for Cole Hoffman for Harrisburg, their head coach, not too pleased with that one. I mean, in a game where the setting is a little bit intimate, not too many fans, and that's not a bad thing. That's just the fact that there's only room for so many folks here. But at the same time, this is kind of an echo chamber. If Craig Wickens unhappy, you'll hear it. If Cole Hoffman's unhappy, you'll also hear it. 4 minutes to play. And again, we have gotten that timer on the bottom of your screen lined up with the scoreboard on the right side or on the far side of the field here in Gloucester County. Popped up. Tough play for Ngobo. Haven't called his number too much since he hasn't played much in the second half. The second product from Endo, South Africa. Trying to break away. Again, time is of the essence. Graham stops in the nick of time. Excuse me, Hartman, rather, stops. Borger pops it up. Kind of taking a page of Harrisburg's playbook here in the final few minutes. Good slide, a lot of collisions, and now Lewis whiffs on it. Sent it too far in the other direction, and that's a turnover. Now Harrisburg ball. Borger pops it up. That one's out of play. Still Harrisburg ball. Good way to advance it quickly down the field for McCoy. And that one is out, and probably a good thing that it was because it looked like somebody was offside. Got away with one that time. Here is Lopez. Borger touches, hugs the line. Last touch by Harrisburg. Hold on. They say he moved too far ahead. Well, Harrisburg taking exception to the fact that they're going to stop the clock here. Now they will throw it in. 2:23 to play. Yeah, they stopped the clock because I think they were saying that Borger was taking too long to get to the ball after his readjusted position. Again, kind of makes up for the fact that about 30 seconds of play were untimed just 6 minutes ago. So you'll have 90.5 minutes of soccer today. Collision with Hartman and Lopez. And no foul either. They swallow the whistle here in the final 2 minutes. Off the midsection of Lewis, the Kingsway Regional product in the Tri-County Conference. Back over to Lilia. Sends that one away, tries to dump it. I mean, a one-goal game, a hard-fought effort by Harrisburg could just be a nothing burger here as the Roadrunners, who once commanded a 4-1 lead, .90 seconds left, still rolling. They said, again, he threw it too far. But again, time is of the essence. They got a minute 20. It doesn't take much for Harrisburg to drive down the field very quickly, drive down the pitch very quickly. But now this looks like this final minute could just be a battle of throw-ins and deflections on the far side of the field. Harrisburg with a loss would fall to 1-3. All of their 4 matches have been in Region 19 play. The Roadrunners, who sit 5th in Region 19 competition with a 2-1-1 record, would improve to 3-1-1. And that also would come with, well, hold on here. That one is sent far away. Harrisburg says, keep it going. Get it quickly. You have 25 seconds remaining. Goalkeeper sets. Going to try to get a good boot on this one. The wind is in his favor. Off the head of Garrett. Rather off the head of Lilia. Lewis heads. No good. They're still on their side of the pitch. They've got to get it over. 10 seconds left. This could do it. Lilia sends it out. Lewis will try to send it even further away. They will not chase it aggressively, and the clock will hit 0 with a Roadrunner win. 4-3 is the final as the Roadrunners survive a daring Tuesday victory over Harrisburg, as 2 late goals past the 75th minute were enough to get Harrisburg close and enough to make the Roadrunners nervous as they made a litany of substitutions after that 79th minute goal. However, unable to get everything going in the nick of time, and the final score today, Harrisburg 3, RCSJ-Gloucester 4. We'll be right back for our post-game interview here on DWB. Final score, RCSJ 4, Harrisburg 3. Your man of the match or your player of the game presented by the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization, is Cam Borger. Borger got a quick start to the game, scored in the first 35 seconds, and that was all it took to get a Roadrunners 4-3 win. First of all, how'd you feel out there today?
I felt good. Towards the end, we had some mental lapses, which gave up 2 goals, and then it got real close, so we got to be better than that.
Yeah, you guys really controlled the possessions in the first half, and I really liked how you guys controlled the ball. Harrisburg seemed like they were playing a lot more fast and loose, where they were popping the ball straight up in the air. When they scored that first goal, they were driving down the field 10 seconds at a time. You guys seemed to take it a little bit slower, and as you guys improved to a now 3-1-1 record on the season, this is a big boost for you guys, taking down a very talented Harrisburg team. What does this mean what does this win mean for you and your team?
We just got to keep them going. We got to keep them going. We got some hard matches coming up. We have Canton County. They beat us 5-0 last year, so that's definitely a target that we want to beat. We're working hard every day, and yeah.
And being I believe, second-year player who's been here before, the thing about JUCO is that there is so much turnover from year to year. Obviously, with players only lasting 2 seasons instead of 4, it's never easy to establish those relationships with teammates that you would over a 4-year university. How do you feel about this team and your teammates overall, and how you have, I guess you could say, gotten along with them in their first couple of weeks of the season?
Yeah, like you said, it's 2 years, so a lot of them are 2 and out or 1 and out, or so teams change. So you never know what team's going to be really good because they just change every year. So for us, though, we had a lot of returners, I would say, and the new freshmen are working hard, putting in good work. We hang out a lot of time, make sure we get the team chem up. We go out, eat after practice, after games, whatever it is, get the team chemistry up. We all get along.
And that's always good to hear, especially in the JUCO world. Things can be a little bit separated for some schools, but not at RCSJ. Final question for you. You mentioned it earlier. You guys have a lot of tough matches going up. You've got Middlesex next week, and then, as you said, Camden County coming up. 7 of your next 8 games, though, are at home. It's going to be interesting to see you guys get familiar with the home turf, get familiar with this natural grass here, and all of the conditions that go along with it. How confident do you feel in your team going into this tough stretch of games for this week and next week?
Very confident. We play on this field every day for practice. Last year, our home record, I don't think we lost a game at home, actually. So we want to keep that going. So we'll see.
Home field advantage is always a plus. Cam, thank you very much. Congratulations on the win, and congratulations on the goal as well.
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Cam. We will have an end to our broadcast here. You can go hang out with your teammates. You don't need to stick with me. I'm going to ramble for 2 more minutes. But listen, very good game for RCSJ, but I would also say a very good game for Harrisburg as well. Even though I'm wearing this Roadrunner cap, I kind of acknowledge both sides as well. Harrisburg had some great offensive stands in both halves. And as Cam said in the interview, there were a couple mental mistakes on both sides that really changed the course of the game. And Harrisburg getting those 2 goals back kind of woke everybody up. It was 4-1, and then 76th-minute goal, 79th-minute goal. That was, I got corrected, that was not an own goal. That was a goal by Barr, I believe it was, number 19. Excuse me, Bakar Ja, who scored for Harrisburg. So either way, though, score held at 4-3, and that was a really intense last 10 minutes. We had a lot of fouls. We had, I believe, 7 yellow cards in the second half, and that now turns over to RCSJ, who gets their 3rd win of the season. A lot of confidence going into some tough ranked matchups next week. Middlesex will be our next time seeing the men's soccer program on DWB on these very cameras. But at the end of the day, just a good showing from RCSJ, getting a lot of goals scored early. Cam Borger scored 35 seconds of the game and really set the tone. And now things turn over, and they'll have a game with Camden coming up in next week's contest. So from our entire crew here at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Carson Rosso, I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you tomorrow, weather permitting, versus Georgia Court, the Division II JV program out of Ocean County, New Jersey, as the women's soccer program will take over this field at the Roadrunner Athletic Complex. Same time, same day. Well, different day, same time. 4 o'clock tomorrow. Have a good one, folks.